Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Before we start today's story, if you have your own personal story you'd like to share, you can contact me on my Instagram, linked in the bio. I read your messages, and many of the stories on this channel come from subscribers just like you. Sometimes sharing your story is the first step toward healing, and sometimes it helps someone else feel less alone. Also, if you enjoy real-life emotional stories like this one, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a new upload. On this channel, we talk about family struggles, relationships, betrayal, healing, and the difficult moments people often keep hidden. Now, let's get into today's story. This story comes from a subscriber who asked to remain anonymous. She titled it, "My Mom Controls Every Part of My Life." She is 24 years old, but she says she feels like she is still trapped in the life of a 14-year-old girl. From the outside, people think she has a normal life. She has a job, she lives with her family, and she smiles when people ask if everything is okay. But behind closed doors, she feels like she has no freedom at all. Her mother controls almost every part of her life. It started when she was younger. At first, she thought it was just normal parenting. Her mom wanted to know where she was going, who she was with, and what time she would be back home. She thought all mothers were like that. But as she got older, nothing changed. Even in university, her mother still chose what clothes were appropriate for her to wear. If she liked something modern or stylish, her mother would criticize it and tell her she looked disrespectful. If she wanted to go out with friends, there would be 20 questions. Who are they? Where are you going? Why do you need to go? What time will you be back? Why are there boys there? Sometimes, after answering everything, her mother would still say no. And if she complained, the answer was always the same. As long as you live under my roof, you follow my rules. At first, she tried to be patient. She told herself her mother was just protective. But over time, it became suffocating. Her phone was never private. Her mother would take it without asking, scroll through her messages, check her photos, and question every unknown number. If she changed her password, it became a huge argument. What are you hiding? Why do you need privacy from your own mother? Only people doing bad things hide their phones. Eventually, she gave up trying to protect her privacy because fighting only made things worse. Then came her first job. She still remembers how proud she felt walking into that office for the first time. It wasn't a perfect job, but it was hers. Her own money, her own independence, her first real step toward adulthood. She thought maybe this would change things. Maybe now her mother would trust her more. Maybe now she would be treated like an adult. But instead, things became even more complicated. The first month she got paid, her mother asked how much. She answered honestly. That was her mistake. From that moment on, every salary became family business. Her mother would tell her how much she should give for groceries, bills, family needs, and respect. She understood helping her family. She never wanted to be selfish. But sometimes, after giving money to everyone else, she was left with almost nothing for herself. No savings, no freedom, no future plans. She started feeling like she was working but not building a life, just surviving. And if she ever hesitated, her mother would remind her, "Do you know how much I sacrificed for you? I gave my whole life to raise you. You should be grateful." Those words always made her feel small, because gratitude and guilt became mixed together. She loved her mother. She really did. She knew her mother had struggled. She knew life had not been easy for her. She knew there were sacrifices she would never fully understand. But love should not feel like control. Love should not feel like fear. And yet, every day, she felt both. Friendships became another battlefield. Every new friend was suspicious. If she laughed too much with someone, her mother wanted to know why. If she spent too much time outside, her mother said they were changing her. If she made plans on weekends, suddenly there was family responsibility waiting at home. Slowly, people stopped inviting her because she was always canceling, always explaining, always apologizing. She became the unreliable friend, the distant friend, the friend who was never allowed. And the truth was, it hurt. Because loneliness becomes heavy when people think you are choosing it. Dating was even worse. The moment her mother suspected she was talking to a man, the atmosphere in the house changed. Questions became accusations.
Simple conversations became scandals. Her mother would say things like, "Men only distract women from their future. You will ruin your life. You think he loves you now? Wait until he leaves." It made her afraid to trust anyone, afraid to open up, afraid that love itself would become another problem to survive. So she stopped talking. She stopped sharing. She created two versions of herself, the obedient daughter at home and the quiet woman outside trying to remember who she really was. That double life became exhausting. One day she reached her breaking point. It wasn't a dramatic fight. It was something small. She had been invited to a close friend's birthday dinner. She had planned it for weeks. She rarely asked for anything, and she was genuinely excited. But on that day, her mother simply said no. No explanation, just no. Something inside her snapped. For the first time, she said, "I'm going anyway." Silence. The kind of silence that feels dangerous. Her mother looked at her like she had become a stranger. Then came the tears. Then the shouting. Then the guilt. "After everything I did for you, this is how you repay me? You've changed. You don't love your family anymore." She stood there shaking. Part of her wanted to apologize immediately. Part of her wanted to scream. Instead, she cried. Not because of the dinner, but because she realized something painful. She did not know how to choose herself without feeling like she was betraying someone else. That night, she stayed home. She missed the dinner. She stared at the ceiling and wondered if adulthood was supposed to feel like this, like asking permission to breathe. That question stayed with her. Weeks later, she opened up to a coworker she trusted. For the first time, she said everything out loud. The control, the guilt, the fear, the exhaustion. Her coworker listened quietly and then said something simple. "You are not a bad daughter for wanting your own life." She cried in the office bathroom after that. Because sometimes the words we need most are the ones we have never allowed ourselves to believe. That sentence changed something. Not everything, but something. She started small. She opened a savings account her mother didn't know about. She stopped explaining every tiny decision. She started saying, "I already have plans," without apologizing. She began therapy secretly online. She learned that boundaries are not cruelty. They are survival and healing. It was not easy. Every step came with guilt. Every act of independence felt like rebellion. Some days she felt strong. Other days she felt like a terrible person. But slowly she began building a life that belonged to her. Not one based only on fear. Not one built entirely around someone else's expectations. She still loves her mother. That never changed. But now she understands something important. Love without boundaries can become emotional imprisonment. And protecting your peace is not disrespect. It is necessary. Today, she is still learning, still struggling, still trying. But for the first time, she feels hope. Because freedom does not always begin with leaving home. Sometimes it begins with a single sentence. I deserve my own life. And maybe someone listening to this right now needs to hear that too. If you grew up feeling controlled, if guilt has kept you silent, if love in your home sometimes feels heavier than comfort, you are not alone. Wanting freedom does not make you selfish. Wanting peace does not make you ungrateful. And choosing yourself does not mean you love your family any less. Sometimes it simply means you are finally learning how to love yourself too. Thank you for listening to today's story. If this story touched you or reminded you of your own experience, feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. Your story may help someone else feel seen. And if you have your own personal story you'd like me to share on this channel, message me on Instagram. The link is in the bio. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more real stories, advice, and emotional journeys like this one. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next video.